Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you can get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube around 4 p.m. Central Time, or outside of my YouTube channel, you can consider joining the Discord I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. That is a great place for you guys to see some of the recipes or meals that I've been enjoying as I've been working towards my goal. Today is day 915 of my challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 250 pounds so far. If anybody has any non-scale victories they want to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you are succeeding with your diet, let us know what you're doing to succeed. Let us know how your diet's going. If you're struggling with your diet, let us know what's causing your struggles. Maybe there's something we can help you with. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you are doing that will help? What are some things that you're doing that will help making staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's go ahead, switch over to the main. Oh, I have this up here. Here we go. Hello, hello. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day today. It's been a very busy day. Lots going on. We're getting into that time of year where it's getting busy. Few people checking in here. Cindy, hello. Pretty Girl's mom, Our Tiny Acres. I hope you guys are all having a great day today. Our Tiny Acres got a non-scale victory here. It says, woot, just ordered 2 smaller summer outfits. That's awesome. It's great having that smaller clothing and getting new outfits to wear for the season instead of the old big stuff that you used to have. So that's awesome. Congratulations, Our Tiny Acres. Let's see. I am going to go ahead and go over food here since yesterday. I have to figure out where food is, though, because I didn't take a lot of photos, it looks like here. So, hello, Carrie. Hope everything's going great today. Let's see. Our Tiny Acre says, yeah, you tried to put on your older shorts and they wouldn't stay up at all. That's awesome. Yes, I had to go pick up some new clothing from Goodwill, so I'm hoping to bust out the shorts here with the nicer weather coming in. Right now, I have been enjoying the smaller pants and my belt. I've talked about a little bit, but yeah. So my belt that I wear right now is a belt that when I was 520 pounds, it didn't fit me. It was sitting in a box in a storage closet. And as I lost some weight, I went through some older clothing. I found this old belt of mine. And the significant thing about this old belt of mine is that it had all of the normal holes in it. And sometimes if a belt doesn't fit, you know, when it gets too big, you can drill holes in to make it so it fits better. But I had drilled a hole into this belt to make it larger. So it had all of the holes from the manufacturer. And then in like the last 2 inches of belt that was left, I drilled a hole so that I would be able to wear that belt still because I was gaining weight and I needed a belt. So the belt had a hole drilled in it to make it larger. I've been slowly losing weight and wearing that belt. And about a month or so ago, maybe more recent than that, I went and grabbed a drill and a drill bit, and I drilled 2 holes into the belt to make it smaller. And I've been noticing the last week or so that I've been buckling it into the smallest hole that I drilled. So kind of the belt is fitting really well, and the pants I bought fit great. I bought some pants, and some of the shorts I bought were smaller than, they didn't fit when I bought them, so I'm hoping that they will fit very soon. Hello, Stephanie. Hope you're having a great day. Carrie says we're going birthday shopping pretty soon. We may be, oh, you're going birthday shopping tonight. Some people in my family want to buy me a birthday present. Yes, today is the last day I will be 40 years old. Tomorrow I turn 41 years old. So it is my birthday tomorrow. So it sounds like the family is out picking up some last minute gifts for me, or they're going to go out to pick up some last minute gifts. So that's great. Let's see. Food since yesterday. Let me pull this. Our Tiny Acre says you're having a hard time not getting on the scale. You are down a pound since yesterday. That's awesome. I was hoping I would be in my mind last night. I was feeling really thin this morning, and I was really hoping I'd be way down, and I got on the scale today, and I was exactly 269.4 pounds. So I did not go up or down in weight today, but so that's awesome, being a pound down, and keep that ball rolling. Our Tiny Acre says happy birthday early. Thank you. Let's see, we're gonna go over food. I've said that a few times now. So last night we had the leftovers of the, I don't know what it's called, soup. Carrie even said it today. Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. I will be right back. Sorry, guys. Had some people come in. I wasn't expecting them in. Let me fix some things here. Sorry about that. Thanks for being patient here. Let me see if I missed any comments. Let's see. Carrie said, oh, the name of the food from last night. She told me the name of the food. Let me pull that back up. So the food from the last 2 nights actually was loaded vegetable soup with farro from the Be a Plant-Based Woman Warrior cookbook. And I really enjoy this recipe that we have. One of the things I wanted to show that I think is great, and a point that I've tried to get across the last few times I've talked about it, but this was leftovers that we had yesterday, and you see the farro that's in it. It's like large, kind of. You can see them. They've soaked up all the juice. The day before, yesterday, when we had the same recipe, it's the same soup, but there's a lot more juice that, appears to be a lot more juice here because the farro hasn't soaked it all up. So I really enjoyed it last night. Again, just like the night before, it really reminded me of like eating a pepperoni pizza or that kind of flavor. So I really enjoyed the taste of the loaded vegetable soup with farro that we had. Carrie says it's so good. You backed off a little on the meat. Oh, it has miso in it. That's why it's so good. Yes, so it has miso on it because that's not something that we have a lot of or we eat very much of. So yeah, that's part of the reason why it was probably so good. Our Tiny Acre says you had potatoes mashed with veggie broth and added chili powder, black pepper, and some homemade salsa to it. That is great. It sounds delicious. Carrie says that she thinks we got a few coworkers hooked on potatoes. She's been cooking 5 pounds at a time to account for me and the other people here working. And then today we had 2 other people grab potatoes at lunch because we had so many of them. Yes, we got lots of them out there. Carrie says here that she needs to make some homemade salsa. Yeah, we need to, but then we got to find something then we got to make homemade chips too. Pretty Girl's mom says you have a teaspoon of miso for the probiotic effect. Yeah, I know there's different things going. Cindy Davis just donated $49.99 through Super Chat. Thank you so much, Cindy. Happy birthday, it says. Thank you. We will have to use that to figure out how to entertain ourselves tomorrow night because it's supposed to be a kid-free evening for us, which should be awesome. Jess Ann says here, what cookbook did you say that's from? Carrie responded here, but yeah, it's called Be a Plant-Based Woman Warrior. I'm not sure we've had the cookbook for a while. There's a few recipes from the cookbook we really enjoy. That's one of them. I can't remember all of the other ones that we have out of there. Some of the recipes do call for maybe some salt, or like this one has miso in it. I don't know if any of them have oil in them or not, but if there's ingredients in the recipes that we don't eat, we just don't put them in there and we try them. Jess Ann says, you've been wanting that book. Yeah, that was one of the earlier cookbooks that we picked up. And I would say that was, yeah, Carrie says that, that we've liked everything that we've made from the book, and it's definitely worth picking up. Yeah, I really do enjoy it. Cindy says, my pleasure. Yeah, thank you again, Cindy. We really appreciate the Super Chat donations. And we put some of that money to good use today for lunch. I started, actually, this is breakfast, so I'll get to it in just a second. Breakfast, we had broccoli, and then we had our regular oatmeal here with the mushrooms, onions, and spinach. And then for lunch today, we got a huge shipment of California balsamics in. I told Carrie to go ahead and order some. I didn't know that she was going to order everything that they have. No, we ended up getting, so we did pick up 1 bottle of balsamic for a coworker, but we had got 2 bottles of the teriyaki, 2 bottles of the smoked hickory. We got a bottle of the curry, a large bottle of the sweet heat, and a large bottle of the 7-herb Italian balsamic vinegars. I think that's all of the large bottles we got, and then we got 3 smaller sample bottles. We got a lime habanero, and I can't remember the other two little ones we got, but that was the one I had. Carrie says it was like Christmas. She was so excited. Yes, the box came in, and I showed her the box, and she jumped up and down like a little kid. Yeah, okay. There was one that was called Strawberry Blonde, and another one that was called Pineapple. It was more than just pineapple, I thought. But Cindy says all those flavors sound delicious. Yeah. We ended up, Carrie had the curry because she really loves the curry, and she had been waiting for that. Why she didn't order 2 bottles of that one, I'm not sure. Yeah, it might be called Island Pineapple, Carrie says. But so she had some of the curry, and then one of our coworkers was there while we were eating it, and he wanted to try the sweet heat. So that's what I had on my potatoes and broccoli today. Carrie here says that she's excited to try the sweet ones on the salsa. Yeah, the strawberry blonde and the island pineapple sound like they would be really good on a salad. Especially like the last salad we had, we ended up putting some beets on it and some blueberries, and I really liked that the last time we had salad. Yeah, Carrie says that she ordered 2 of the ones that our coworker might like. Yeah. Cindy asks, I wonder if the strawberry blonde will work on a strawberry nice cream. That might be something that would, I never thought of taking something like that and like mixing it in to the creamy and then blending it in. That might be something that's good if it's real sweet. And so our Tiny Acre says you don't need to make chips. You just put them on potatoes or rice. The salsa that we were talking about earlier. Yeah. And then you said I got stuck on salsa. That must have been right when I did the be right back. And then our Tiny Acre sounds, yeah, that sounds like it could be good. Carrie says a birthday ice cream experiment. Yeah. It's, you know, you hate to waste the stuff and then have it go bad. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the pineapple creamy, and so or the pineapple that we make in the Ninja Creamy. I don't know if that would be a good flavor with that. It sounds like that would be better with banana. But I didn't taste it either. So after I had a taste of it, I might be able to give a better idea of what I think it should be mixed with. Let me go ahead. So that was the food since yesterday. I talked a little bit about feeling really good, loving the way my clothing is fitting. I'm starting to get into a position where I'm going to be able to start wearing clothes that are like 2XL, which is pretty awesome to be to that point. Pretty Girl's mom says that the wild huckleberry is great on banana nice cream. So you just take the nice cream and then you like drizzle it on top of it like you would like a syrup. Then I imagine that sounds probably more, probably a better way to do the creamy than to mix it in, because that way you can judge the amount you need to add, and you can add more or less based on how it tastes. But yeah, that sounds like a pretty good idea. We might have to try to experiment with that tomorrow for my birthday. Carrie says that we have a sample size of the huckleberry still from our last order. Where you been hiding balsamic vinegar at our house at? I would have eaten that months ago. Pretty Girl's mom says, yes, you just put it on there. Our Tiny Acres here says, you know how your doctor took foods away from your diet recently. It's not only helping with your gout, but it's also helping with your fibro. You have so much less pain. That is great to hear. I know we had somebody who followed along when I first started this challenge that was doing or had asked about, I think they might have been doing like the autoimmune protocol AIP diet. And I think it's similar to what you're talking about doing, where you kind of greatly reduce the different things you're eating and then slowly add things in and then see how those new things added in, if they affect your body. But that's great that you're having less pain, because I was very fortunate. I had aches, and I had I guess I probably had pains, but your body just gets used to it. I used to have the ankle pain and the foot pain. I used to sometimes get kind of a tingling in my thigh, kind of that type of pain that I would get. And it's so nice to be relieved of that pain, and I went through a huge, with my ankles, with the swelling, when that all kind of went away. I went through a major shift in how my bones were in my ankle, and I went through a week of just agonizing pain. But since having that kind of agonizing pain, everything's gone to where it's supposed to be, and I feel so much better. And I really, eating this diet, I really have to attribute it to that. But that's great. You're feeling better. I'm happy to hear that. AJ Vintage says, happy early birthday. Thank you. I'm planning on doing a live stream tomorrow, but Fridays are always a pain. So I'm not sure if I will go live tomorrow or not. We'll just see how the day goes, and see if I end up being able to go live tomorrow. Tennessee girl says, happy birthday. Thank you. Ricky, howdy, Ricky. Hope you're having a great day today. Pretty Girl's mom says, you'll have to remind us what you had eliminated. And then our Tiny Acre says, you can see the bones in your feet now. Yeah, it's crazy, the difference in my legs, and just how it feels. I feel like the mobility in my ankle has improved so much. My ankles used to pop a lot. I used to be able to I haven't thought about that until right now. That's so funny. That I used to be able to, if I took my big toe and made a big circle with it, just rotating on my ankle, it would pop every time. But it doesn't do that now. I don't know. Maybe I'm making things up. But yes, it feels so much. Ricky says, will you have some cake? Me and Carrie were talking about that. There is a black bean brownie recipe that we had, when we first started the challenge. Anytime we went to a special event, or anytime we had a birthday, that was what we made, was the black bean brownies. That's something we might do. So people talked about having some ice cream, or some, we have a Ninja Creamy that we make ice cream out of. So I might have that. I'll probably celebrate by just eating a big portion of whatever we have for dinner. But yeah, it's not even really, I have lots of different things. Maybe I'll go and splurge and buy some dehydrated mango and some cashews. That'll be my my birthday treat. Or I could just skip all the work and just buy a Lara bar. That would be the same. But yes, I have a few different options that are fairly sweet. But yeah, I mean, a cake, it doesn't even cross my mind. It's something that I talk about every stream. At the end of it, I talk about, getting started and not letting, whatever you have coming up this next weekend or this next week get in the way of you starting your diet. And one of the things I've said in the past about that is, when that event comes up next year and you've been on your diet for 364 days since you started the day after that event, are you going to go off your diet when that event comes up, or are you going to stay on your diet? And so my birthday is one of those things. And I'm sure for many people, your birthday might have been that's going to be the last day. You know, the day I turn 40 is the last day I'm going to eat this way. You know, the day I turn 30, or, you know, once I turn 25 or once I'm 50, I'm not going to do this but up until then, I'm going to celebrate, you know, I'm going to have that last hurrah on my birthday. And so when I started this challenge, you know, that was something that, like I said, I say it all the time, get started, because when that next event comes up, you need to get through that event and you need to succeed through that event while staying compliant and on your diet. And now this is going to be the third birthday I've had since starting this. And I'm certain for my first birthday, I was 100% compliant, because that was within the first 11 months of my diet here. For my second birthday, I'd have to go back and look to see what we were doing or where we were at. But, you know, during that period, I was mostly compliant, but I would have used something like my birthday as an excuse to go get some vegan pizza or something. And now this third year, I'm back 100% on track, the same way I was the first year. And, you know, it took that second year for me to realize that I don't need those things. I can, you know, have just as much joy and fun without them. Carrie here says that, yeah, when we started this diet, it was 17 days before her 40th birthday. And that 17 days of succeeding with her diet, you know, and then getting through the 40th birthday, being right around the holidays too, it helps build confidence to make it through those events and be compliant. You know, that's something that they talk about in the Pleasure Trap book, is how these experiences or these people that you interact with, if you overcome that temptation, you gain control over the temptation. If you succumb to that temptation, the temptation then has some control over you, because it made you change your intention. So it has control over you. And so the next time you're faced with that temptation, you'll look back on that previous experience and say, either I overcame that temptation and succeeded and survived and came out better, or you'll look back and you'll say, the temptation beat me last time and I don't know what to do to overcome it, you know, and, you know, you have to fight again. Or you say, well, I wasn't able to fight it last time, I'll just give into it again this time, and I'll do everything, you know, right outside of this temptation. You know, how many times do we say that? And then that leads to even more. Hold on one second. Okay, so our Tiny Acre says, so Carrie is older. She outed herself. Yes, Carrie is older than me. Our Tiny Acre says that you are older than your honey. Yes, so Carrie is the older one in the relationship, by about a year and a half, older than me. So, yeah. I was talking about the special event, my birthday, you know, like I would have absolutely, you know, every birthday for the first 38 years of my life was about what can I do to, you know, to consume as much as possible or be as gluttonous as possible. You know, it's a free day. It's your birthday. You're allowed to go get fast food 3 times on your birthday. You're allowed to have that extra piece of cake or the big piece of cake because it's your birthday. And that kind of mentality, it spills over into every other day. You know, you find a reason to celebrate every day like it's your birthday. And with the access we have to food, it makes it easy for us to celebrate every day. It is like your birthday. Yeah, Plants Only Muncher says, yeah, if the cashews and the mango is a temptation. You just don't face them. Yeah, I don't have them in my house, so I don't really have to worry about them. If those are trigger foods for you. Yeah. And the thing with the cashew and the mango for me is I don't have a problem with eating cashew and mango or having them in my diet, but when I'm trying to lose weight, it doesn't help me to have them in my diet. So, um, I definitely noticed that when I don't have them in my diet, it makes it easier for me to lose weight. I still lose weight while having cashew and mango sometimes, but it's not as much weight as I lose when I don't have them. But yeah, so that's with that. And again, yeah, not having, it's so nice to not have some of the stuff in our house. It's not even on the options of things to grab, and we have an abundance of other things available. It's something where we have the hanging basket on our pantry door that has all the fruit on it, and there's always something that's worth grabbing or something worth having. But yeah, just not having the temptations around is by far the easiest way to avoid them. And so the other thing, I was going to just kind of go through today. If anybody has any questions, anything they want to ask me about the diet or what I've done, whether you're watching this live now or watching it on a replay, ask me any questions you have about the diet. I know a lot of you guys that are on the live stream are here all the time. So, you probably ask your questions already or normally. But I did kind of want to just go through my, the process so far for losing weight. I've talked a little bit about, the first and second year already, but just kind of where I started, how I lost my weight initially, just kind of talking about it overall. Our Tiny Acre says, lucky for her hubby stuffs. I'm sorry. Lucky for our Tiny Acres, the stuff that hubby likes to have in the house that you don't eat, you don't even crave. Yeah. And yeah, if it's just food that you didn't like anyways, I don't really feel like I have a lot of cravings for food because I eat so much food when I eat, and I really feel like that reduces cravings. And when you start having cravings, if you just think of that as your body is signaling that you're hungry, it doesn't matter what your body craves. It's saying you're hungry, then solve the problem of being hungry with something that is compliant on your diet. But yeah, so I started this diet. I was 519.8 pounds. And actually, before I started the diet, I actually weighed more than 519.8 pounds. But all of the effort I put together to try to start this YouTube channel caused me to lose a few pounds before I started my official start date on November 1st of 2020. And when I started the challenge, I had two goals in mind. The two goals that I had in mind were that I wanted to get down to a lower weight than I had ever considered getting to before. Many times in the past, I would challenge myself to do a diet and I would say, okay, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to lose as much weight as possible before this event happens. Or I'm going to try to get under 350. I'm going to try to get under 300 pounds. And I would actually do a really good job at reaching those goals that I would set for myself. I would stay on my diet for a couple weeks or until the wedding happened. Or, a couple times I was able to lose weight and get down to 299 pounds. But what happens when I get to that goal weight or that event happens, then I let up off the gas and I start to say, well, heck, I got under 300 pounds. That was my goal, was to get under 300 pounds. Let's go celebrate. But when I look back on it, I realized that at 300 pounds, I wasn't a healthy weight. I was just a less fat version of my previous self. And that until I got down to what was actually a healthy weight, I couldn't say that I succeeded. So that's why I challenged myself to lose 300 pounds. And it just so happens to work out that at 520 pounds, if you lose 300 pounds, you get down to 220 pounds. And for somebody who is 6 feet tall, like I am, if you look at a standard BMI weight chart, then I would, at 220 pounds, I would go from being in the obese category to being in the overweight category. And while, saying I'm overweight, sucks, but being in the overweight category versus being in the morbidly obese category is a huge, huge shift for me. And it puts me in a position that I have not been in since I was before I was a teenager. Ever since I was 13 or 14 years old, I have been over 200 pounds. In fact, I had a friend's dad. I used to wrestle a lot, and we were having a conversation the other day, and he had mentioned remembering that when I was in 8th grade, I was 213 pounds. And so from, and I don't even remember that. That was, so from as long as I can remember, I've been over 250 pounds. And so for me to challenge myself to lose 300 pounds was a greater challenge than I'd ever put in front of myself. And it put me in a much healthier spot than I would ever have been previously. And then the other big part of my challenge when I started was that I needed to do something for longer than I had ever done it before. I had a lot of times in the past, like I said, would do a diet for a couple weeks. I'd do a diet for a summer or until some wedding or graduation or some event that I wanted to be lighter for. Or I lost weight. The longest I had ever been on a diet prior to this was 9 months. And I was only able to stay on that diet for 9 months because I was taking a prescription of phentermine that was an appetite suppressant. And so a huge part of that diet was that I was taking a pharmaceutical that was causing me to not eat. So I was having great success with weight loss. But as soon as I stopped taking that medication, the binging started right up. I never learned how to eat properly, even though I lost 115 pounds and everybody wanted to know what I did to lose the weight and what they had to do. They wanted to copy me. I never learned how to eat. I was eating a horrible diet. It was all about calories, and I was eating, fewer than 1,000 calories or maybe 1,200 calories a day. And the content of what I was eating was all highly processed, awful foods. And so when I started this challenge, I knew that, it's cliche, but everybody says you have to make a lifestyle change. And so I thought that in order to make a lifestyle change, I need to stick to something for longer than I've ever stuck to it before. And when I started the challenge, it wasn't just that I needed to stick to a specific diet. It was that I needed to focus on my health and my well-being for 3 years. So if I choose to do one diet or start my diet, this challenge one way, and then I find that it's not working for me, I needed to be able to adjust and change so that I would find a way that would work for me. And I did have to do some adjustment, but not very much, I found, in what I had to change, because when I first started this challenge, I was going to focus on water fasting. That was my intention, was to water fast my way to a healthy weight. And I was going to do a very long water fast to kick off my channel. And then I would do periods of fasting for 5 days and eating for 2, or try to do one, trying to do OMAD, or just using hunger and water fasting as a way to lose my weight was my intention when I started. So when I started the challenge, I challenged myself to water fast through the month of November. I had experience with water fasting when I started this. It wasn't the first time I did a water fast. And it wasn't actually the first time I had done a 30-day water fast. Prior, a year earlier, or a year and a half earlier, I did a 30-day water fast to try to lose weight, and it was very successful. I lost 60 pounds in 30 days. I felt amazing at the end of the water fast and thought that this was great. But I had no idea how to eat after the water fast. And so I very quickly went back to my old way of eating. So within a week of of the end of that 30-day water fast, I was back at the fast food restaurants ordering drive-through food. And I think that in my mind that I just thought I would just fast again to get that weight off, but I didn't. I went to the fast food restaurant and I just kept eating and eating, and I gained that 60 pounds back so quick. And then I gained another 60 pounds on top of it to get me up to being 520 pounds. And so when I started the challenge, I knew I wanted to start with a water fast, but I also knew that I needed to find a way to eat right afterwards. I needed to have a plan, or I needed to develop a program for my diet after the water fast, because if I wanted to see the benefits from the water fast last, the weight loss, if I wanted to see the weight loss stay, I still had to change my diet. And so I started the challenge. I had every intention of eating a keto, carnivore, paleo type diet. For the first 2 weeks of the water fast, everything kind of was as normal. I was doing some research, trying to educate myself on the proper ways to refeed after I got done with the fast. And that's when I stumbled across some videos about the True North Clinic. It was, I believe the videos were the Dylan from Well Your World had done like a 7-day water fast, or maybe longer even, but he did a water fast at the True North Clinic, and he was doing a video, like a vlog of his experience at the clinic. And a lot of what he was saying about his fasting experience and how things were feeling with him resonated with how I was feeling at the time with my water fast. So I started looking into the True North Clinic. I didn't know anything about what the True North Clinic was, or who they were at all. And so I found, because I was doing a very long water fast, and I found that this place has their patients do very long water fast, then I would see how they were refeeding their clients when they got done with their water fast. What are they having them eat? And that's when I found out about a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. And I thought that was wild. It was crazy, extreme diet. I mean, more extreme than fasting, really, not really, but it seemed more extreme than fasting. A whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet seems more extreme than fasting. You get to eat food and it seems more extreme, and you get to eat a lot of food actually. And it's anyways, but I thought that's just crazy that this facility that was designed for fasting and to use fasting for healing then turns around and paints another target on its back by recommending people eat a crazy vegan diet. And so the let's see. Karen here says that you did fen when you were 41, you lost 70 pounds and then they banned it. I had the same thing happen when not with fen, but with ephedra when I was in college back in 2000, 2001 time. I was taking a product called Advocare and it had ephedra in it. And I was kicking butt on it until they removed the ephedra. So yeah, the pharmaceuticals can help you with losing weight, but they don't teach you how to eat. You know, did you keep the 70 pounds off you lost after they banned it? Because I didn't keep any of the weight off I lost after they, you know, I wasn't able to take the drugs anymore. So I was talking about finding the True North Clinic and looking into the diet and thinking it was crazy that was the diet they were recommending for people. And the craziest part too is that up until this point, like I said, I was planning on eating a carnivore, keto, meat-based diet. And one of the things that I thought that I would do is I had gotten a discount code for a one-time purchase for a company that sold meat online. So while I was water fasting, I went online and I ordered like 30 pounds of meat from this place, at least, of different ground beefs, some Wagyu cuts of meat, just all grass-fed, you know, super meat that I bought, and I had that shipped to my house when I was fasted for like 17 to 20 days. And then by day 25, day 26, I had started reading the Pleasure Trap book that was written by the doctors or the people that run the True North Clinic, and had completely shifted my diet. And so within a week, I went from ordering over $100 worth of meats online to deciding that I was never going to eat, or I was going to try to eat a meat-free diet. And so my dogs got some really prime cuts and prime meat for about a year as we kind of slowly went through it and gave it to them. Karen says that after doing the fen and losing 70 pounds over the next year and a half, she gained it all back, and over 2 more years, she gained an additional 30 pounds. Yeah, and that happens so many times to us, you know. And I think that we kind of convince ourselves maybe that we were able to beat it slightly before, so we can beat it slightly again. And so, you know, I'll worry about that when I'm ready. You know, when I have the mental power to attack my weight, I'll attack it again, you know, but I don't have the mental power to work so hard like I did last time. So yeah, I had a fridge full of meat and decided to try eating a plant-based diet. And, you know, the first few things that happened after I got done with the fast, I mentioned a little bit, but I had this incredibly painful experience in my ankle that I believe happened because I got rid of all of the swelling in my legs. There was a week-long period that I could almost barely walk because I was having issues with my ankle pain and actually some pain in my big toe that in the end, just the way the pain felt, it really felt like it was the bones and the tendons and ligaments and all of the stuff that's going on in my ankle. It was like it was all settling back into the place that it was supposed to be. But because I had had so much swelling, it was hurting them. And so when I had that issue, I went and I bought some Hoka shoes at that time because I wanted to get, it might have been around that time I bought Hoka shoes. It was either then or around Easter because I had it happen twice, or I had issues with my feet twice, but I can't remember the dates on anything, but it doesn't matter. So I water fasted through the month of November, after reading the Pleasure Trap book, looking into the True North, and how I was feeling at the end of November, I decided that I thought I could push the water fast a little bit further. And so I pushed it into December, started looking at kind of timing and dates and things like that. And I actually ended up doing a water fast for 1,000 hours. And so that was, I think, over 41 days, but less than 42 days is the length of time that I fasted. And I broke my water fast with some juice, some reheated mushrooms and onions that I had grilled up. And I would not recommend having mushrooms and onions as your refeed meal, but I mean, it was fine. I kept it down. Or if you have it as your refeed meal, have it like fresh off the stovetop, with some nice seasonings in it. Mine was reheated in a microwave. Ricky says that's a long time. Yes, it was a very long time to water fast. Over the course of the water fast, I went from 519.8 pounds down to 430 pounds. So I lost 90 pounds while doing the water fast for 41 days. After the water fast, I slowly refed. I probably should have refed even slower than I did, but I introduced juices, some softer foods, but we kept everything whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar free to see how things worked, kind of after the refeed. And the foods were not the most delicious foods I ever had in my life. But for me, I knew that it was just, I needed to eat food for energy. And these foods were what I needed to do that. And it took 2 to 3 weeks for my taste buds to adapt. And those same foods that I was eating on day one started to taste good. Real food, real healthy food tastes good. You don't have to add salt, oil, and sugar to it. But in order to be able to appreciate the taste that the food has, you have to abstain from salt, oil, and sugar for a couple weeks, because that taints our palate for that long. It takes that long for our bodies to get used to it. But what really kind of helped push me to stick with the whole food plant-based diet was that 10 days after finishing my water fast, or it might have been 8 days, I think it was on day 50, I hopped on the scale and I had lost another 10 pounds. And so within 50 days, I lost 100 pounds on my diet. I was feeling amazing. I was now 420 pounds. I was refeeding, so I was trying to get my energy back. And I went for a couple months eating a whole food plant-based diet. I did decide to try to do another extended water fast in March of 2021. I water fasted for 10 days and I lost 20 pounds in those 10 days. But I didn't really feel like in the end that water fast was worth it. One of the reasons why I quit the water fast was because in order to water fast, I believe, successfully, you have to be pretty sedentary. If you want to keep your water fast going on for a long period of time, even if you have a bunch of energy on day 7, you can't use it, because come day 14, you might just be wiped out. And it might be because you did so much work on day 7. And so I was water fasting. It was 10 days in. We were coming up on a weekend, and I was thinking about all the things I wanted to do with my kids and my family, and started thinking about, what I would be able to do, what it would do to me while, being water fasted while doing these activities. And so I decided that I would rather be more active and eat healthy food than water fast. And so I stopped that water fast after 10 days. Like I said, I lost 20 pounds. I did regain a little bit of weight after that water fast, but it slowed down my weight loss progress for a few weeks or months after that. And so that's kind of why I don't keep doing extended water fasts. I've tried to do kind of 3-day water fast, see how that affects me. Because there's kind of a tipping point that my body reaches from that, day 1, 2, and 3, it kind of is in a certain mode, but then after day 3, your body switches over to burning ketones, and I feel like it makes it more difficult to go back to eating. And so if you're gonna fast for more than 3 days, I would recommend fasting, like 5, 7, or maybe longer. I wouldn't just fast 4 days or maybe even 5. I would try to fast for maybe 10 days. Or if you want to do a shorter fast, then fast for up to 72 hours. But throughout that time after that water fast, coming into May of 2021, I decided that I wanted to do something physical. I had lost all this weight. I was feeling amazing. I was used to carrying around a 520-pound body. Now I'm carrying around a 360-pound body at the time, probably 350-pound body, when I decided that I wanted to challenge myself physically. And so I started looking into a few different things, looking into maybe doing a 5K or doing a longer run or doing some other things. And I stumbled across a sprint triathlon that was happening near me. And if you don't know what a triathlon is, that is an event where you do a swim followed by a bike ride, and then the last event is a run. And so a sprint triathlon is a small version of a triathlon. So we did a 400-meter swim, a 15-mile bike ride, and then a 5K run was the distance that we had on the sprint triathlon. And so I got excited, signed up for the sprint triathlon. I did some training. I could have probably trained harder, but it was in the middle of the summer. Things were busy. But I gave myself 42 days to train because I figured I'd fasted for 42 days. I'd give myself 6 weeks to train to get ready for this thing. I went out and I did complete the sprint triathlon. I was not the fastest runner out there, but I was the slowest. I did finish it though. I think it was right around 2 hours that it took me to do the whole event. It was awesome to complete it. At the end of that kind of training and doing that, I was right around 320 pounds. The week after I completed the sprint triathlon, I injured my left distal bicep tendon. I tore my bicep tendon where it attaches at the forearm. I've done that twice now, but this was not the same arm. I've done it to both arms. But this was in 2021, just doing normal stuff, I guess normal-ish stuff. And I tore my bicep tendon. So then that kind of stopped any working out that I was doing. And then within a month of that, my weight loss had kind of stalled because I had surgery, which caused me to gain a little bit of weight. I was still eating the diet that I was eating when I was working out, which I think that caused me to stall in my weight loss as well. Drinking a lot more juice, had some avocado in my diet, that while I was working out, it was okay. I was still losing weight. But once I wasn't working out, I stopped losing the weight. So after that point, the weight loss had slowed down. Me and Carrie had kind of our first experience having to travel out of town and to stay compliant while out of town. We were also celebrating a milestone for one of our our company things or for our nonprofit, and we were out of town. And so we decided that we were going to go out to eat at a vegan restaurant. They had plant-based burgers and fries and soda is what we ended up getting at the restaurant. It tasted amazing. I loved the food. It was great food. But then kind of the ripple effect that had, I, at the time, while it was happening, I was upset. Now looking back, I'm happy that I had this ripple effect happen. I'm happy that I had this experience happen because it took me months to figure it out. But because I challenged myself to do this for 3 years, I was dedicated to figuring it out, and I have figured it out. But in hindsight, I think that I was worried that the food that I was going to eat when I got to my goal weight, I wasn't going to like. I had at that time been eating a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. But I think the trap that so many of us get into is the idea that the diet that we're eating to lose weight is not the diet that we're going to eat once we get to our goal weight. And that is the case a lot of times for people because you're eating these diets that are ridiculous, or you're taking phentermine or fen-phen or ephedra to suppress your appetite. So then, the diet to lose weight is not a diet that you can eat the rest of your life. And so I think I had that mentality that, I'm eating this whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, and that diet's going to get me to my goal weight. But once I get to my goal weight, what am I going to be able to enjoy? What am I going to love to eat once I'm my goal weight? And I found that there would be some things that I would absolutely love to eat. Chipotle burritos, vegan pizzas, plant-based burgers, a lot of those things taste amazing. But what I had to realize is that those aren't foods that are ever going to be a part of my diet. They're not going to be something that, I need to eat. And if I choose to eat them, I'm only putting myself in a unhealthier position than I was before I started eating them, or before I ate them. So I had to kind of learn that, these foods that I'm eating now, the polenta with white beans and spinach, the rice, Spanish rice, the Linda's meatloaf, the plant-based Gabriel's 3-2-1 burgers, the big bowls of salad, those are all food. That's what I'm going to be eating the rest of my life. Maybe there's a one time, but I don't even, at this point, I don't see myself even being in a position to want a lot of those things. The things that I now entertain as maybe being back in my diet would be like Ezekiel bread and nut butter, shredded wheat with pineapple in it. Some things that still stay whole food, plant-based, SOS free compliant, but are processed a little bit more than the foods that I eat now. Like those are the foods that I might, that I'm excited to have more of or have in my diet once I get to my goal weight. But like I said, that whole second year, I believe that I survived it because I was dedicated to the time that I was going to do this, and I needed to keep figuring it out. But also because I was eating an abundance of food when I was being compliant. I think that many times people are on these diets that they're eating such a low volume of food that the second that they eat a bigger volume of food, or they eat a food that gives them more dopamine, their body freaks out and says, hey, you have access to that food, let me eat more of it. With our diet, I would eat that vegan, vegan pizza. It's the most common one. So I'd eat that vegan pizza. My next meal would be compliant. and it would be a large meal. It wouldn't be, oh, I eat that vegan pizza, I need to not eat for 2 days. It would be, okay, let's get food in our body. Let's get that junk food pushed through, get it out of our body, and let's get back on our diet. And so I spent a year of kind of one meal out of every 20 or one meal out of every 30 meals was a cheat meal or oh, hey, we're too busy to deal with our own cooking meal that we had. And then this past August or September, I recommitted to the diet. Um, I was fighting with that 300-pound mark. I was at 320, down to 310, up to 330, down to 318, down to 305, and I was really having a hard time breaking through that 300-pound mark. And so I recommitted to eating the whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free, not having any off days, not having any off meals, not giving myself an excuse that I earned it or that it's just this, oh, it's just when we're at the movies that I'm going to have a soda. I had to go back to abstaining from the foods. And since doing that, I've lost an additional 30 to 35 pounds. And it's been a pretty great transition, or it's been a pretty great experience for me because I'm finding that I love the foods that I'm eating now. And I don't have any issues with temptations. Our kids have some potato chips and stuff around the house, but none of that stuff lures me at all. And so the eating this way, eating the whole food, plant-based, eating the salt, oil, sugar-free, as little processing to the food as possible, has really helped me to work towards my goal. And so far, I haven't been perfect on my 3-year goal, but I've been really good. And if of all the possibilities that could have happened since I started this challenge, for me to be at day 915 and to be able to say that I've been compliant on my diet for the past, 7-8 months, 100%. And really, I've been on a diet for the past 915 days. Even when I was having those cheat meals, the overall bulk of my diet was changed. Like I've not had any animal products since 916 days ago. No meat, no fish, no dairy, no eggs, so all of that, I've, still been dieting in that respect, or I've changed my diet in that respect. But even if you add the cheat meals in, though, I've been 95% of my meals or more have been whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free. And I'm pretty happy that I've been able to do that. And, with my birthday coming up tomorrow, I'm pretty happy to be turning 41 years old, because at 38 years old, there was no guarantee that I was going to make it to 40 or to make it to 41. If somebody would have said at any time, that John had a heart attack, John had something happen, some health complication happen because of his weight, nobody would have been surprised. So I really feel like every day that I have after I started this challenge has been a day that I might not have had if I wouldn't have started. If on November 1st, 2020, instead of starting this challenge, I woke up and had a heart attack, that's how I look at what could have happened. like I'm very blessed that I made this choice and that I did it without having to be told to do it. I didn't go to a doctor and have them tell me I had diabetes and I needed to change something, or I didn't have a stroke or a heart attack and have a doctor say you need to make huge lifestyle changes. I am so happy that I decided to make these changes and that I've been able to be consistent with the changes that I've made. So, but that's kind of an abridged long, I don't know. I'm sure I skipped over a lot, but that's just kind of where I've been with my diet, how I've lost my weight. I lost pretty much 100 pounds of my weight with the water fast, and then I've lost the next 150 pounds through eating a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. And I never lost weight when I had cheat meals. I always stayed the same or gained a little bit of weight. It was only while being compliant that I lose weight. And so that also has helped me with my, help to strengthen my resolve to stay on my diet, is that when I'm on the diet, the weight goes down most of the time. There has been times where I've been on diet and the weight hasn't gone down, but I don't really think there's been any times where I've been on diet and the weight has gone up. It usually trends down when I'm on diet. Let's see. Plants Only Muncher says, you don't have to be perfect. Like Dr. Esser says, strive for excellence, but you don't have to be perfect. Yeah. And it's going to be impossible to be perfect in some ways. And you shouldn't expect to be perfect. If I was talking to you 15 years from now and we were talking about perfection, then I would be expecting more perfection out of me than I am today. But right now, I only have 915 days of experience. If you taught somebody how to play baseball 915 days ago, you wouldn't expect them to be a professional baseball player 2.5 years later. We know that it takes somebody years and years of training to become perfect at anything. That's why these kids start as athletes at a young age, or we have them doing math and science at a young age so that they can develop those techniques and to become more perfect in those things for as long as possible. I work at a moving company and we hire movers. I don't expect guys that come off the street and have never done a move before to be the best movers that we've ever hired. Sometimes there's guys that are more proficient than others, but sometimes the guys that are more proficient when they start, they don't take the time to learn how to do it and they don't ever get better. Whereas somebody who might be weaker or not as skilled at the job to start actually takes the time to develop and hone the skill, and then eventually they can become better. But it takes that practice. They have to work towards it. Your diet's the same way. Just because you've eaten every day of your life doesn't mean you're good at knowing how to eat right. It just means you know how to do it. The same thing with movers. We hire people that have previous experience, and just because they moved for another company doesn't mean they know how to do the job, or they know how to do the job the way we want it done. And it's the same way with diet. Just because you lost weight with another diet before doesn't mean that that was the right way to do it and that you're an expert on weight loss. When I lost 100 pounds 10 years ago, I thought I knew everything. I thought I was, oh yeah, it's easy. You just don't eat. Like I would tell people, oh, just don't eat less food. You got to push the plate away. I wouldn't tell them I was taking an appetite suppressant, so I didn't even need to worry about pushing the plate away myself. And so, I lost my thought. Let me read this. Karen says that Karen was diabetic and you had a stroke and your doctor never said it was your food. Yeah. They might have said you need to change some things, but they don't correlate the food. And it seems crazy to me. Like, if you have health issues, I would think it would be one of two things. It would either be what you consume or what you breathe, because those are the things that you are allowing to enter your body, And so if you're having issues on the inside of your body, maybe it's what you're allowing to enter in it. And if you're allowing junk food to enter in, maybe it's the junk food causing the problem. One of the analogies Carrie made the other day that I wanted to share was we were talking about grease and how we don't have any grease in our house. We don't cook with grease for our kids. We don't have any grease for ourselves, any oil or anything. And we were talking about how when we used to cook, like when we would cook bacon or cook things that had oil and fat, that we wouldn't pour the oil down the sink drain, because we were worried that if we poured the oil down the sink drain, that it would clog the plumbing in our house. And it's crazy to think that we wouldn't take that oil and put it down into a 1 inch or 1.5 inch large pipe because we were worried about it clogging. But we'll take that same oil and we'll put it in our mouths, and then our bodies will have to push that oil through our blood system or through our body. And we were so willing to put that oil in our body, and without any thought, without, any hesitation. But we'd be like, no, don't throw that down the drain. We would stop that immediately. I totally lost the thought I was talking about prior that I was going on about. And it was about, oh my, let's see. You don't have to be perfect. Oh yeah, it was don't have to be perfect is what it was. And so we hire movers that have previous experience, and they're not they, just because you've lost weight before doesn't mean you know how to lose weight. That's what I was talking about, how I would, after a year in 100 pounds lost, and people would ask me what I was doing. And you're happy to have people ask you, and you're happy to act like you're an expert because you have lost the weight, but it's the longevity, it's the sustainability. That was the 3-year challenge of it, is that I wanted, even if I lost all 300 pounds in the first year, I wanted to be able to say at the end of 3 years, I was still 219 pounds. So it wasn't just getting the weight off, it was getting the weight off and sustaining it. It hasn't worked that way for me. It's going to be more of a run to the finish line, but they're two separate challenges too. There's a challenge to stay on my diet for 3 years, which I'm confident that I'm going to do. And then there's a challenge to lose 300 pounds. I don't necessarily have to lose the 300 pounds in the 3 years. I just got to do both of them, is what I've decided now. Sonia says, you two, you're so glad that you changed before you got a major diagnosis. Yeah, you switched to a whole food plant-based because you were afraid of getting COVID while being very overweight. Yes, that was some of those comorbidity issues. I really felt like, as far as with the virus, when it came in, that was when I found out I was 500, like the day that they were doing the shutdowns around here, I had to take my daughter to a doctor's appointment. And as we were leaving the doctor's appointment, I noticed that they had a large scale. And I also noticed that there was nobody else in the hallway. And so I told my daughter to wait a second, and I hopped on the scale and saw that I was over 500 pounds for the first time. And I really, looking back, I know that there was two choices that I had that I could make at that time. It was either I need to do something and get healthy and get this weight off of me, or I need to look at my fat stores as, hey, at least if all the food runs out, I got all this extra fat on my body. So it doesn't matter that I'm overweight. And when all the food disappears, I'll be the last one standing because I'm the one that has all the excess body fat on me. And I think I leaned into that second way, that I was a mobile food prep storage facility. Um, is is what I felt like, I think, when that all happened, or but then 6 months in, I really started to get concerned about my health, and I wanted to be here for my wife and for my kids. That's a huge motivating factor in all of this. If it was just me, I don't think I would really care if I just made it to 40, but I want to spend the next 40 years with Carrie and watch my kids grow up and them have kids and their kids have kids. Um, but yeah, the perfection thing, yeah, you're not going to be perfect. And that's the way I feel about my second year. Like, I wasn't perfect. And in fact, I was far from perfect my second year. Um, but I learned how to perfect my craft. I learned how to perfect my diet, like those experiences were, you know, they were important in the overall grand picture of what I'm doing. And I wouldn't change anything I've done so far, because if I changed anything, I couldn't guarantee that I would be 269.4 pounds right now. And I'm really happy that I'm at 269.4 pounds. But I've gone on really long today. I hope you guys enjoyed me kind of giving a recap of my 915 days so far. I appreciate all of the support that you guys have given me. It really does help keep me motivated, helps keep me on track, and keep me in check as far as, avoiding those temptations, staying compliant, all of the things that you need to do to succeed. And I'm able to do those things because of you guys. So I appreciate that. And I don't know if I will be live tomorrow or not. It is Friday, and it is also my birthday, so I'm not sure what the day holds, but I will let you guys, I guess you'll know tomorrow. If you don't see me tomorrow, I'll see you guys on Monday, and I will be a year older when you see, either way, I'm going to be a year older when you see me next. So thank you guys so much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, that'd be a great birthday present for me. Hit that subscribe button, click on the bell icon, give this video a thumbs up. Happy birthday to me. So do all those YouTube things. And thank you, Stephanie. Yes, I am looking forward to having a terrific day. If you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. Tomorrow's my 41st birthday. It's not more important than my health or my overall well-being. If I want to see my 82nd birthday, I need to be concerned more about my health and overall well-being than I am about it being my 41st birthday tomorrow. And so don't let these events get in the way of you succeeding towards your weight loss goals. And when they come up while you're on your diet, find a way to get through the event and stay on your diet. That's my plan for tomorrow. And nobody gets to their goals, guys, and looks back and wishes they would have started. I just talked about it. I wish that I would have gotten started in March of 2020, 6 months sooner than I did. Because then I would be 6 months further along and I'd be done. I'd be done with the challenge, because I got like 4 or 5 months, or the 3-year part of the challenge, maybe not the 300-pound part of it. I would have been lighter though when I started. Anyways, I'm out of here, guys. Thank you all. Our Tiny Acres, Pretty Girl's Mom, everybody. Thank you so much. We will talk to you later.